Greetings, my sentient beings. It is I, the one, the only, the person named SmartyArtsy1. I am definitely not the smartest or the most artistic person out there, but irony is great. Before we talk about the actual speed paint itself, I want to take a moment to address the elephant in the teacup. So right now in the year of 2020, where this video has been released in, we are suffering a pandemic known as the coronavirus pandemic, which causes a disease called COVID-19, which is an incredibly dangerous disease, and it can be fatal for some people. So currently, I'm pretty sure everybody has heard of the coronavirus at this point. Everybody's heard about what it is, the fact that it's a respiratory disease, and how contagious it is. And you're probably wondering, well, why am I talking about it? I do not know everybody's individual situation because everybody is different, but I think it's safe to say that we are all probably struggling in some form or fashion and that everybody has been affected in some indirect or direct way by the coronavirus. No matter what your situation is, and I'm saying this to everybody who might be watching this, I want to take a moment to remind you that there's always good in the world, and that there's always something that you can be grateful about no matter how difficult times get. I know that that's a bit weird to say, because usually saying something like, oh, everything will be okay, or oh, it's gonna be great, be strong, can be a bit of a stretch for some people because, of course, some people are struggling harder than others. Some of you might not be able to work right now, some of you might be students. I'm sorry, class of 2020, and to every graduating class. My deepest condolences for all of you. Some are sick, and some are just in quarantine or just stuck with other people. But no matter what our situation is, there's always good in the world, and there's always something that we can do to make the world a better place. Speaking of that, I would like to take a moment to thank all of the essential workers out there. There are a lot of essential workers who are right now making the world a much better place right now. There are a lot, but to name a few, I'd like to name the doctors, the medical workers, such as the people who work in the healthcare industry, basically, the people who work in delivery, food service workers, and there's a lot more. But I would like to take a moment to thank all of you, because you guys are smarty, artsy, and amazing. Also, I would like to thank everybody who is in quarantine right now and everybody who's working hard to reduce the spread of the coronavirus, because it's not just the essential workers as well, it's everybody who can make a difference in the current situation right now. So to all of you, thank you for being smarty and artsy and being amazing. Also, on the topic of the coronavirus, I would like to remind everybody, please wash your hands, maintain social distancing, wear a mask if you can access one, check your mental health, and be supportive of each other, because some people might be struggling harder than others, and it's always important to support others who can't support themselves. So stay safe, be good, be kind, and remember that there's always something good in the world. Thank you. Anywho, let's talk about the actual speed paint itself, because I'm sure that everybody has heard enough about the coronavirus at this point because it's everywhere. So about the speed paint, I was inspired by spring and cyberpunk wings and a bunch of birds, because I've been seeing birds outside my window all the time, and a bunch of other critters like squirrels and really, really fat bunnies. I found like an entire trio of very large bunnies running around my backyard and eating the roots of the trees that we have planted there. And I was like, no, bunnies, do not eat our roots. How dare you? So yeah, I was just inspired by wings. And of course, I'm making another watercolor speed paint in this. I love watercolor, and there are only more watercolor speed paints that are coming up. So if you have a problem with that, deal with it, because watercolor is bae, and I love watercolor. Of course, in this picture, I used watercolor as a base and colored pencil and ink on top, but mostly that good watercolor. I'm sorry, I love watercolor a lot. So about the actual picture, not just the whole watercolor thing, I have very mixed feelings about the final product. So initially I wanted to have a very simple color palette where I used grays, browns, and yellows. But I was struggling with finding ways to shade it and how to like make all the colors work together and to make different details pop out, because brown and gray kind of merged together, and then the way I was going about it originally, I wanted the wings to sort of stick out. So I also noticed some other issues with like the actual line art, where some of the wings looked really wonky and lopsided and not symmetrical enough. Because like, for example, like the left wing's cut off and the right wing looks a lot smaller than the left wing. And so those are some issues that I had trouble with fixing. But of course I did work on fixing them. And I was conflicted with the actual color palette itself. So I ended up just vomiting every other color that I could think of to make something look somewhat cohesive. So I do have mixed feelings about the actual finished product because I'm not really sure if I like it or not. So of course, I've been in quarantine for over a month now. I actually really want to go outside and drink bubble tea at like a fancy restaurant or something, but I can't really go outside right now for anything other than any sort of essential activities like going to the doctor if I need to. Plus, most of the bubble tea areas are really far away from my house, so that would probably be a bit difficult to make it there. My school has been canceled for the rest of the year, and I feel so bad for the seniors that go to my school, because that means that they won't be necessarily getting a big graduation party, and I feel so bad because I look up to a lot of the seniors in my school, and they deserve a lot because they've done a lot, and it just sucks, okay? I do not like this current situation that much. Of course, I do like that I get to stay at home. The thing is, I feel like I've been in self-quarantine before it was even cool, because I'm the indoor type of person. Also, all my schoolwork's been online, so I've just been doing online courses, and I'm an online course type of girl because, I mean, I just like how self-paced they are and how I do not have to worry about actually moving around. I can do everything at home, which I do like, but there are definitely some downsides to the situation, but there are some upsides too. I've had a lot of time to draw, to read, to do a bunch of other silly things. I've also been spending time playing video games and watching a lot of anime, which is something that I don't really get the opportunity to do all the time. So that's kind of the whole spiel of all the random stuff that's been going on. Of course, I still have some schoolwork that I have to complete and some studying to do, because even though most of my state exams are canceled, I still have national exams. Gotta get that college credit. Oh boy! So I have been occupied, so I haven't been completely bored and I haven't been losing my mind entirely. Of course, I have been getting on the nerves with the people that I live with, i.e. my family, and it's been kind of wacky, but I think that life's been pretty okay. I've also been able to talk with a lot of my friends online. By the way, I got a Discord. If anybody wants me to make a server, let me know. By the way, so about the anime stuff, I finished watching Evangelion a couple of weeks ago, and on Netflix I watched Castlevania, and I started watching Hunter x Hunter and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Additionally, when I was making the speed paint, I watched Yuri on Ice and an anime show called Given. So there's a bit of a story about that. But also, if anybody wants me to make a video about Yuri on Ice or any of the anime shows that I mentioned, I'm definitely gonna do that, because I would love to make videos talking about Evangelion and maybe Castlevania if I can get away with it, but I'm not really sure if I can. And obviously Hunter x Hunter, JoJo, and I'm also making a Cowboy Bebop fan art right now as well. But about the actual speed paint in Yuri on Ice. So I watched Yuri on Ice on Crunchyroll for the first time. I know I'm late to the party by like 4 years, but hear me out. So when I was recording, I watched 2 episodes. The only notable things that were picked up by the camera when I was watching those 2 episodes while recording were, this anime man has stolen my heart. I've only known him for like 20 minutes. By the way, that was where Victor caressed Yuri's cheek and was asking him about himself. It was so cute! So, earlier I mentioned that I had a lot of confusion with making this picture. So I watched Yuri on Ice, the first 2 episodes, took a break from recording, finished Yuri on Ice. I would love to make a video about Yuri on Ice and making fan art for that. Yuri and Victor Forever, We Were Born, Ship Victory, and I have all the soundtrack just like stuck in my head. It's amazing. Of course, there were some iffy things, but we're not going to talk about the iffy things right now. So I watched Yuri on Ice, finished Yuri on Ice, went back to recording, started watching Given, finished the painting, and then I just looked at it and I was like, what the heck did I just make? I definitely had to take time to adjust some of the sizes of the wings so that things didn't look so lopsided. But yeah, that's just the whole story of me making this picture and all the stuff I did while making it. It was a bit of a bumpy ride, but I still had a lot of fun making this, even though I feel a bit conflicted about the final product. So this video is about to end. So that was just a whole summary of all the random things that have been going on and all the crazy things that have been happening lately. But I just want to remind everybody to stay calm and to be safe. Anywho, and although I feel a bit conflicted about the final picture, I still think that it overall was a fun experience, and that maybe next time I can try to challenge myself again to make a limited color palette like how I wanted to. But that's the final picture, and we've made it to the end of the video. I would like to take a second to remind you to maintain social distancing and to remain calm. So at the end of this video, I would like to remind everybody to like, share, subscribe, and be sure to comment anything that you'd like to say. Oh, and also hit that notification bell so that you get all the notifications from me so that you never miss an upload for any video. Because I feel like I've been skipping out on mentioning that. So make sure to press that notification bell. If you are interested in seeing more of my artwork, check out the description for my DeviantArt and my Instagram accounts. And also, because I mentioned the coronavirus, I will also be leaving resources and links about the coronavirus. So if you are interested, be sure to check those out. Stay smarty, stay artsy, stay safe, and peace out, my sentient beings.